Oh my gosh, I sound horrible. Paramvijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, total world victory of Hare Krishna. I have no clue if my voice will improve. Bear with me. I'm sick again, as usual. You know, was sick and then got sick again. Back to back. I had one day of feeling good and then I'm just dying again. It's like, oh, okay. Nice. So yeah, that's sad. But today we're doing Bhagavad-gita, chapter 3, verse 40. Pretty cool. Yeah, let's go. Indriyāṇi mano buddhir asyādhiṣṭhānam ucyate etair vimohayaty eṣaḥ jñānam āvṛtya dehinam. Indriyāṇi, the senses, manaḥ, the mind, buddhi, the intelligent, asya, of the lust, adhiṣṭhānam, sitting place, ucyate, called etair, by all these things, vimohayati, bewilders, eṣaḥ, of this, jñānam, knowledge, āvṛtya, covering, dehinam, the embodied. Sorry, I apologize. Translation. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Purport. The enemy has captured different strategic positions in the body of the conditioned soul, and therefore Lord Kṛṣṇa is giving hints about those places, so that one who wants to conquer the enemy may know where he can be found. Mind is the center of all activities of senses, and thus the mind is the reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification, and, as a result, the mind and the senses become the repositories of lust. Next, the intelligence department becomes the capital of lustful propensities. Intelligence is the immediate next-door neighbor of the spirit soul. Lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego and identify himself with matter, and thus with the mind and senses. The spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. The false identification of the spirit soul is very nicely explained in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Yasyatma buddhi kuna petri dhatuke svadi kalatradishu bauma idyadi yatirta buddhi salite na karhi gij sij janev abhinesu jnesu saeva gokara. Oh my gosh, I cannot pronounce. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with the self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, and who considers the land of the birth as worshipable, and who goes to the place of pilgrimage simply to take bath rather than to meet the men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered as an ass or a cow. I thought cows were holy animals, though, so confusing. Alright, let's check out some differences, guys. Ooh. No, there's differences in the translation. No! So, in the original, it's the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. And then in the new one, it is the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust. Through them, lust covers the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. It fails. Okay, so I see how that can make sense. It like means the exact same thing to me, maybe not to you. You know. Did they take a class in the original manuscript? Okay, sorry. Bye, guys. Weird. Alright, the next part is mind is the center of all activities of the senses, and thus the mind is the reservoir of all the ideas of sense gratification, and as a result, the mind and the senses become repositories of lust. Has been changed to Mind is the center of all activities of the senses, and thus when we hear about the sense objects, the mind generally becomes a reservoir of all ideas of sense gratification, and as a result, the mind and the senses become repositories of lust. Okay. Okay. Mind is a sense. Okay, so they really elongated it. They like added like a whole new like thing. It's like, okay. Thing, if you know what I mean. I don't know what the actual word is, but I said thing because I don't know what the word is. So bear with me. Mind is the center of all activities, and thus when we hear about sense objects. So when we hear about some sense objects, the mind becomes a reservoir of these ideas that are put into our heads. Of all the ideas of sense gratification. Okay, they just interesting. All right, so this is Jayadvaita Swami's reasoning. Original manuscript. Mind is the center of all activities of the senses, and as such, when we hear chant of some sense objects, generally, that becomes the reservoir of all such ideas. Okay, so they did take it closer to the original manuscript. Where's it gone? Sorry, I'm playing with a ball with my feet again. I'm being too quiet. I'm not 100% sure if I'm being too quiet. Yeah, so goofy art change. I'm sorry. I just can't explain these changes. It's like I just can't. It's like weird. It's like yes, they took it close to the original manuscript, and I could go like, Jayadvaita Swami, what are you thinking? But like, what's the point in that? It's like, it doesn't do anything. So, my jñānam becomes a reservoir. Okay. They took it close to the original manuscript, though. Let's actually check. Maybe they're lying. You never know. The sense objects. Generally, the mind becomes a reservoir. Okay, they did take it closer to the original manuscript, so Prabhupada didn't want it to be closer to the original manuscript, though. So interesting. All right, the next change is they just added a reference to which Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam verse it is. In this one, indriyāṇi has been changed to ij-ya-d. And then there's salite has been changed to salile. Gokara has been changed to go-kara. Kara. Cha. KH.
Is it?
Yeah, it's KH.
Gokara.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Gokara. What is the reason? What is the reason?
Cow and kara means an ass, isn't it? What is a cow or a dog? A dog? Kara?
Let's go to the word by word. No. There's no word by word for the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam.
Yeah.
It's just Kolkata.
An ass or a cow, yeah. So go means a
Cow.
Cow, yeah, and kara.
Karaha. Okay, well, they don't give a reasoning, so that's sad. Lame. Salile. So they took the Sally there closer by taking it to the Salile, but like, in the original manuscript, there were some mistakes, I guess. But then they took it closer to the one that, like Prabhupada said. Well, it didn't. I don't know. All right, so instead of a human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsman, who considers the land of birth as worshipable, that got deleted. The land of birth worshipable, the land of birth as worshipable. So okay. Let's see if it's in the original manuscript. As worshipable. As worshipable is in the original manuscript. So this they did say they took it closer. Wait, give me a second. No, they did not take it closer to the original manuscript. As worshipable could be like a grammatical thing, which I can see why they changed it there. Yeah. All right, and the last change is to be considered as an ass or cow. Quotations. To be considered like an ass or cow. As an ass or cow, so as an ass or cow. So you are an ass or cow. But is to be considered like an ass or cow. So you're like an ass or cow. Okay. That changes. Bye-bye. Have fun with the changes. Sorry, I just can't do changes. I just find them annoying. Like changes is like, oh, lame. Yeah. So next bit, meanings and contemporary application. So we have the three next door neighbors here. We have Mr. Mind over here. I need something. Where's Mr. Mind's house? Mr. Mind's house is over here. This is Mr. Mind, okay? Over here. Mr. Intelligence is over here. This is Mr. Intelligence. And Mr. Soul is over here. So, Mr. Mind over here is like, here's something from his next door neighbor, Mr. Maya. Miss Maya. Illusory energy, female, male. Is Maya, is like Maya, like the energy, female, male? Like the illusory energy, female or male?
What?
The illusory energy, Maya. Female or male? Female.
Yeah.
So you got Miss Maya over here. Like,
My baby.
my baby is like, hey, Mr. Yo, Mr. Mind, you heard about the brand new Rolls Royce? And you can buy it if you work your ass off. And it looks real nice. And then Mr. Mind's like, oh, that's nice. Real nice. And then they talk to Mr. Intelligence, who's like, how am I going to put my thinking into that? And this soul's like the innocent child who's just involved. And it's like, oh, well, sense gratification. I want to worship Krishna, but this sense gratification seems like the gratification that I get from worshiping Krishna and becoming happy. So soul gets confused. Poor soul. So it's like a little chain. It's like Chinese whispers, where you hear it and then like you know the game? No? Okay. So you hear it from a person and then like you pass it on to the next person, but then like the thing gets confused. But in this sense, the person at the end of the line like usually gets confused because they get the wrong thing. Like they get confused, but it's sort of like it's sort of not. So that's my little contemporary application. And Krishna is helping us by saying hints of the places that you need to control the sense gratification and to control us by saying mind and intelligence, then purifying the soul. So that's very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Krishna. We've got the deities over there. Thank you very much, Krishna, for helping us. Mind is the center of all activities of the senses. So the senses, they all report back to your mind, and your mind tells the senses what to do. The mind is the one who's like, oh, I'm going left, right, center, up, down. Hello?
Fun.
Just got someone staring at me. Okay. And just like going everywhere. Mind is going va va voom. And then the senses, who are the mind's little pets, like got 5 dogs, which are the one's called smell, the other one's called taste, and like so on. So these dogs are going helter-skelter, running around on the street, Maya, and they're like, oh, that seems nice. That seems real nice. And then the mind's like, oh, okay, sure. The owner just wants to make the dogs happy. So they're like, oh, yeah, nice, cool. And then the intelligence, who's like the boss of the owner, is like, yeah, sure. And then the innocent child in the back gets influenced by this and confused, and that is the soul. So poor soul. But there's a way to cleanse, and that is by controlling the senses, which therefore controls the mind. And to do that, devotional service of Krishna and a bona fide spiritual master sent by Krishna will help you in this matter. So, trust in Krishna. Do devotional service of Krishna because it is good. And then, yeah. And then lusty intelligence influences the spirit soul to acquire the false ego. So spirit soul confused and identify itself with matter. Yeah, so spirit soul just, yeah, and thus with the mind and senses. So the spirit soul identifies itself with the body and the mind and the senses, whereas the spirit soul is the spirit soul. And the spirit soul becomes addicted to enjoying the material senses and mistakes this as true happiness. So, true happiness, but the spirit soul is inclined to Kṛṣṇa. So, you know, the spirit soul doesn't have Kṛṣṇa because the person isn't, because the mind is confused and is dragging the body for sense enjoyments of the mind. So, sorry, voice just deteriorated? Yes, no, okay. She's gone. She's gone. Oh no, my voice is. My poor voice is about to die. Yeah. So, okay, it's back. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just gonna say yeah. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Let's do Te Reo Māori now. It's been like 16 minutes. Okay. What is this? 339. Oh. 340. Sure. Thank you, ChatGPT, for giving this to me and helping. Engaging ChatGPT in the savor of the Lord by getting it to translate the Bhagavad-gita into Te Reo. Even the robots can be helped. Alright, so senses the mind. I'm gonna have to cross. I'm gonna have to cross reference it to make sure that it actually says copy. Paste. Is this it? I think this is it. Paste. And then hopefully this translates to English. If no. Values the mind and knowledge, the dwellings of his home, hiding. Living spirit, soul. I could see how they get that. Okay. Sorry, guys. Senses the mind and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity in Buddhism. So values, don't have values, the senses goes to values. The mind and knowledge are the dwellings of this home, hiding the true understandings of the living spirit and causing confusion. So no, it's not right. What ChatGPT has given is not right. So interesting.
What it did?
It translated it wrong. So I cross-referenced it and translated it back, and it said it's meant to be the senses, the mind, and the intelligence.
Well, that's a problem that we know about it, right? Is that there's no Māori word, Te Reo Māori word for
the senses. Values.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like kind of like, yeah. I mean, values is another. In English, you can translate the word senses to values. Why don't you? What about if you give it the Sanskrit? Oh no, don't try that.
Poor thing will just start bugging out. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna read this game. Ooh, it's wrong, so that's sad, but can't really do much. Yeah, sorry guys. The senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this lust, which veils the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders him. Ko ngā uara te hingangaro me te mātauranga ko ngā wahi noho o tēnei kāinga e huna. Hey! I can just turn your volume down, Shani. I call her Shani because I can. Like shiny. She had her volume up and then you could probably hear it. It was just me. It was me speaking, so I could hear myself speaking. Alright, I'll start from the beginning. I'm sorry. Ko ngā uara te hinengaro me te mātauranga ko ngā wahi noho o tēnei kāinga e huna ana I te mōhio tūturu o te wairua ora a. Ka waka raru ia. Word by word translation using the M- pattern. Ko, the, ngā the plural marker. No, ngā the plural marker. Ora senses te the hinenaro mind, me and te the mātauranga intelligence, ko ngā the plural marker wahi, places, seats, noho, sitting, or of tēnei, this kāinga, lust. It means house, like home, like okay, but it is passive indicator. Huna, conceal, hide. Ana, present continuous indicator. I, in by te, the mohio, knowledge. Do, real, true. O, of te, the wairua, spirit, living entity. Ora, living, alive. A, and ka, will, future tense marker. Wakararu, it will confuse, ia, him. Okay, so I'm going to finish off the class. Oh, I have to put it into, okay. We're going to make it into a poem, and then I'm going to read the poem, and then I'm going to say bye-bye. I can. My voice box is about to fail. It's about to go bye, and then I won't be able to speak at all. No, we're going to have to translate that. Okay. So. Ko ngā uara te hinenaro me te mātauranga rā. He wahi noho mō tēnei kāinga kāpā. Huna ana I te mōhio wairua ora e. Wakararuraru ana e pō I te pai. And let's translate that to English and see what it said. Oh no, it's gonna load, please. Oh. Load. Okay. Paste. Apologies. Values, the mind, and that knowledge too, are dwellings of this home that come into view, hiding the understanding of the living spirit's law, causing confusion like darkness on the shore. All right, how about we put the correct words in there? The senses, the mind, and that intelligence too are the dwellings of this. Sorry, I have to check that out. I'm not 100% sure. Are the dwellings of this. Are the sitting places. Are the dwellings of this lust that come into view, hiding the understanding of the living spirit's law, the soul's law, causing confusion like darkness on the shore. So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty nice. All right, first let's read it in Te Reo, then English, then Sanskrit. Or English, then Te Reo, then Sanskrit. How about let's change up the order? Let's do it. Te Reo, Sanskrit, then English. Okay. Ko ngā uara te hinenaro me te mātauranga ko ngā wahi noho o tēnei kāinga. E huna ana I te mōhio tūturu o te wairua ora a. Ka wakararuraru ia. Indriyāṇi mano buddhir asyādhiṣṭhānam ucyate etair vimohayaty eṣaḥ jñānam āvṛtya dehinam. And in English, the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of lust, which fails the real knowledge of the living entity and bewilders them. Okay, guys, I will be saying bye now before my voice just dies. We're on vijayate, Śrī Krishna's Sankirtan. I'm Total World Victory of Hare Krishna. I hope you guys have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and I will see you tomorrow if I'm better. Well, even if I'm not better, I'll probably still do it, but okay.